Mass Effect 1 was for sure every nerd's dream come true, just being able to design whole new alien races. And then 2, you get to see the magic of them. You design them, but then they get built and animated and really go through that whole wizard process of being brought to life. The process here was that the writers knew that they wanted a beautiful race of exclusively female aliens. I actually kind of think of the Asari as being the reverse of Alien. When you think of designing aliens, they're usually, you're trying to come up with something that is outside of our frame of understanding. But with the Asari, it was almost like going the other direction, where it was, rather than alien, it was idealized. The Asari, we went for the blue, kind of in a reference to classic science fiction, referencing the Star Trek green space babe, going back to doing the discolored blue skin. We tried doing a few designs that were more alien, and everyone who's ever tried to design an attractive alien has come across this. Anytime you change the face too much, you're no longer able to really be attracted to it. There are no Asari males. I think maybe one of us concepted one of them once, but that drawing was lost. Thankfully, it didn't look too great. The hair fins developed out of, we were just really experimenting with shape, where originally it was actually kind of thinking about how the hair had evolved and changed into something a little bit more spiny. Again, knowing that all of these alien races had to have something threatening about them. None of them were just weak. They all had developed and fought, and especially in the galactic sense, had been living and working and fighting each other for so long. We wanted them to have not really an animal look. We tried a bunch of different silhouettes, and keeping something that at a glance looked like a fairly modern, stylish, something that a woman may wear that was still a little bit futuristic, but also didn't look too far. It essentially went from a hairstyle into something organic that just grew right out of the head. And then, tried to carry that down the back of the neck. Once we had the hair fins in place, they started seeming very aquatic, so we tried to reduce the nose and a few things like that. And one of the great things too in that process is that as we were developing and designing the characters, the writers were also working on the story and history and all of that. And so we were able to kind of inform each other back and forth. And so with the aquatic look, they were able to write in a few things about their home planet's ecosystem and the climates that they would have evolved out of. And then when they had more details as far as they come from a climate that is it's very wet, and they've maybe evolved out of a more aquatic sort of environment. We were able to go back in and we did a few designs of their clothing that reflected that design sense, that reflected the sorts of things that you would wear in a more liquid climate. With the Asari, being able to make these like a distinct Asari, and the differences between Samara or Liara or the matriarch from ME1, the advantage was that we still had the human face in place, and so we were able to reference features from either models that we had hired or just the character artists themselves could actually tweak some of the features. Where it got difficult was in, for example, the Krogans or Solarians, where a little bit of variation, and it was still so alien that you wouldn't actually be able to distinguish between one and the other. So Derek came up with just really the simple solution of the face paint or war paint or just decorative tattoos. And those were extended to the Asari as well, so that we would have maybe some crown banding or some markings on the face, and Turians would have their war paint painted right on their bone, and that helped create some much more distinct, quickly recognizable looks.